Hey guys, welcome back to Mondays at the Museum. I'm Carrie and I'm here at the Anna Bemis Palmer Museum in York, Nebraska. So today we're going to be talking about this guy, and his name is Steve Henson, and he was born in Thayer, Nebraska. As you can see, we have a photo of him in our Thayer section. So, Kenneth Stephen Henson, he went by Steve, was born on February 14th, 1918 in Thayer, Nebraska. I read that he was a bit of a prankster, always pulling practical jokes on his classmates and things like that. Not why we're talking about him today. But at age 19, Henson left the York area and he hitchhiked his way to California, where he took a job driving a semi-truck for 25 cents an hour. After that, in 1949, he moved to Alaska to be a plumber. This trade was not often sought after because it was a really cold climate and it was really long hours, and so it took a lot for someone to do that. And so because of this, Steve made bank, right? They were just rolling in the dough at this point. While he was in Alaska working as a plumber, he also basically worked in a kitchen, and during this time he developed a recipe that went on to make him millions, right? So he's working in this kitchen and he's quoted as saying, "It's tough to feed men up in those bush jobs. If they don't like something, they're as likely to throw it at the cook as they are to walk out cursing. I had to come up with something to keep them happy." So any guesses as to what that's going to be? He stayed working there until 1953 before he moved back to California, and then in 1954 he purchased 120 acres in the mountains near Santa Barbara, and he started a dude ranch, which he called Hidden Valley Ranch. I'm guessing most of you can guess what it is he is famous for. So, for those of you that don't know, a dude ranch is basically a place for city slickers to go and act like cowboys. Yeah, that's the basics. Henson loved his ranch. He used it as a place to share his stories and sing songs, and he apparently was a major attraction just because he was so personable. Another major attraction for this ranch was the restaurant that was on site. He sold his homemade salad dressing, which he called Hidden Valley Ranch. People raved about this dressing and basically hounded him until he agreed to send jars home with them. And then more and more people were like, "Hey, can you ship? Will you ship?" And thus started his mail order salad dressing business. Yes, so he was sending salad dressing by mail. It was like a packet of powder, and then the customer would add in the butter, milk, and the mayo, and voila, Hidden Valley Ranch, thousands of miles away from the Dude Ranch. So mail order business. This was big in the 1950s and the 1960s and caught the attention of Clorox. Yes, that Clorox. Who knew Clorox was linked to this? But in October of 1972, Henson sold the brand to Clorox for $8 million. So for those of you doing inflation math at home, $8 million in 1972 is roughly $60 million in today's dollars. So yes, also made some bank on that. In the 80s, Clorox redid the recipe a bit and turned it from the mail order powder into the bottled dressing that you see in stores today. And after retiring, Henson moved to Nevada. It is there that he passed away in 2007 on February 23rd at the age of 89. So, yes, Steve Henson was born in Thayer, Nebraska, and he did grow up in the York area. And so in our Thayer area, we have a nice picture of him and a newspaper write-up from the local paper as well. And that is part of the Thayer section in our History of York County display. For those of you that haven't seen it yet, we would love for you to come by. We are open 10 to 4, Tuesdays through Fridays. However, this week, October 10th, which is this Thursday, we have extended hours and we will be open till 8 p.m. So swing by and make sure to check out the History of York County display. We'd love to tell you stories about the items that we have. There are a lot of really cool York-related artifacts, and that photo and the stories that go with it are just a few of those things for the Thayer area. So we will see you next week for the next edition of Mondays at the Museum. If there's something that you want me to cover, if there's a piece of the display that you are curious about or one of the towns or anything like that, hit us up in the comments. We'll see you soon.